Hey y'all, if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Maudie, and today I'm going to show you how I make my cornbread dressing. And I make this from scratch. And you'll notice I said dressing. Yes, I'm from Alabama, down here in the South. I'm sure you can tell by the way I speak. There is a difference between stuffing and dressing. Dressing is typically just a dish that is a side and you cook it in the oven. Some people put chicken in the dressing and some people don't. I don't, because my family doesn't prefer it, but I've had it both ways. But stuffing is a mixture of items that you put into the actual turkey. So we're not going to be doing that. We are going to be making southern cornbread dressing. Now this recipe, if you want to call it a recipe, was my mom's, and it's been passed down for many years in my family. I don't actually have a written recipe, but in the description, I'm going to just tell you the basic ingredients, and then you can tailor it to suit your needs. A lot of this depends on how many people you're trying to cook. Now today, this meal that I'm preparing here, I'm preparing several things. It's for a friend of ours, and we're going to gift that to her because she's been going through a hard time, and we'd like to brighten her day. So this will not be a large batch of dressing. And I want to say that I don't have my mic on. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm going to talk as loud as I can, and we're going to try to do this as quickly as we can because no one in our house is up yet, and I want to get it done before all the kids come in here and the ruckus begins for the day. So you can come in right here, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what I've done. Now, my kitchen's small. Everything's a mess. I just apologize. We've got a bunch of things going on in here. So this is my little prep area. This is what I've done to make it easier on myself. I know everything that I need to make my dressing. So yesterday I cooked a pan of cornbread, and when I say pan, I also made a reel about that, a short, whatever you want to call it. This is the size. This is a half steamer pan, and this is the size that I will be using to cook the actual stuffing in. Dressing, excuse me. And this is also the pan that I use, this same size, the half steamer size, to make the cornbread in. And I hope there's no glare. I didn't think about that. So if I just flashed you in the eyes, I'm so sorry. Anyway, I made this cornbread yesterday. Now, this is a lot of cornbread. You have to make it, let it cool, then you crumble that up. That's the base for your cornbread dressing. So I am going to take my bowl here, and it's a pretty high-sided bowl because you're going to need that. And I'm going to dump about I would say 75% of the bread. You can see how much that makes. About 75% of the bread out of this gallon-sized Ziploc bag into that. Again, this is cornbread that I made from scratch. The next thing I'm going to do is I have about a half a loaf of just regular loaf bread. You can use homemade bread. You can use whatever you have. I would not suggest using wheat bread. I would suggest using white bread. I've never tried this with wheat or sourdough. I'm pretty sure it would change the taste of it. So I am going to just start cutting this up. Now, normally, years and years ago, I would just rip it to shreds. And if I feel like this is taking too much time, that's probably what I'll end up doing. But I like to cut it if I can, just because I feel like it gives me more control over the size. And I just grab it usually and start cutting it. I think I'm actually going to rip it though. I'm kind of running tight on time, and I think that'll be a lot quicker. So if you're just ripping it, you just take it and pinch it off. Many times I'll have my younger kids do this the night before that I'm actually making the dressing. And the kids, they don't really mind doing this. They get to get a loaf of bread and they rip it up. If I'm doing a batch of the dressing for my size family, then I'm going to rip up a whole loaf of bread, and I will use that whole pan of cornbread. Or alternately, I will do a 9 by 13 of cornbread and use it, which I feel like this half steamer pan is different dimension wise than a 9x13, but I feel like the amount of food you get is similar. It's just thicker, more compressed, because it's, you know, a smaller size pan, but it's deeper. So I believe it seems like you get about the same amount, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. Anyway, so you just rip it up. I probably should have done this ahead of time, but if you could have been here the last few days, you would see why. Like, we just had it's been really busy, and honestly, I've been very unmotivated. I've just not felt well with my head hurting, and I've not been sleeping well, and so it has been an adventure around here. And the weather's been so nice, y'all. It's been so nice. Like, I've wanted to stay outside the whole time, and when it's really nice, I want to just sit outside. And I want to also say this about the bread. You can use bread that's not that fresh. In fact, it's really better. And this bread is fresh, but if you have bread that's, you know, not molded, of course, but if you have bread that is, you know, a few days past its prime, and instead of just throwing it away, if you're going to make something like this, that's perfect. And you can also just take bread frozen and, you know, crumble it up and go ahead and freeze it. So this is something that you can prep ahead of time. Honestly, the majority of this dish can be prepped ahead of time. And I use the heel. I don't not use it. I use it, especially in this. It's really good. And the main thing is just trying to get everything somewhat uniform in size, just because you don't want any huge chunks. And I am going to just pause this video for just a second, and I will come back as soon as I get all this stuff, this bread ripped up. Okay, so I went ahead and did that half a loaf. And before I do anything else, I am going to just take my hands. Of course, this shouldn't have to be said, but I'm going to say it. Make sure your hands are clean. But I am going to take my hands and I am going to mix this together. Be careful not to just like pack the bread together, but you just want to make sure that the cornbread crumbles and the bread pieces are incorporated well into each other, and that there's no big globs of anything. Okay, that looks good. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my onions, and this still has a piece of an onion in it from yesterday. Now, I'm not going to use all these onions. I am going to put, for a dish this size, I'm going to put the equivalent of probably a medium-sized onion, I would think, if you dice it up. And you want to make sure you dice it fine. Unless you like it chunkier. If you do, then do whatever you please. I have took my celery, and this is one whole bag of celery. This is a whole pack of celery. And I cut the ends off, both ends, and then I chopped it finely. And I will add it in here. And I'm going to put 2 scoops, maybe 2.5 scoops of the celery. I am going to go ahead, and I prefer rub sage. You can use the like powdered, more powdery sage. Now this is where I just kind of let my heart tell me what it's going to taste like. I just put a good sprinkle, because you want it to taste sagey, like you want to be able to taste that sage. And this is a full container. This is a 0.75 ounce container, and you can see it was full, and I used up just about a quarter of it. Then I have my salt. I'm going to go ahead and just salt this. And I like to put a little pepper in it. I don't know if my mom did that, but I do. And let me see here. The next thing I'm going to do is melt my butter. And I use a stick of butter if I'm using a large, making a large batch of this, then I'll use and that was actually for the eggs. Shoot, I'm not sure why I did that. I'll use 2 sticks, but for this batch, I'm going to use 1 stick. Oh no, here's that one. We had takeout at some point yesterday. Well, not really takeout. We have a local deli near us, and we actually got food from the deli. So I'm going to melt this butter, and let me see. Sorry, I gotta text my daughter back. Okay. So you see how it looks now. I've got my sage, my celery, my onions, cornbread, and my loaf bread in here. Salt and pepper. The next thing we're going to put in after the butter is the chicken broth. This is a huge component of this meal. I don't usually use bone broth in this. I normally just use regular chicken broth because bone broth tends to make this oily, and that's just my experience. You may do that and love it, and if you do, it's okay. Because like most things I cook, this is a meal that is very versatile. A dish, rather. So I am going to pour my 1 stick of melted butter over in there. Put that there to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and do my eggs too. I've got eggs that are straight from our chickens. And because we have a rooster, I always crack them separate. Which these need to be cracked separate and mixed anyway. And I'm going to do 3 eggs. Sometimes I do 4, even in a dish like this. And I just take my eggs and I take a fork, nothing fancy, and I just mix them up really, really good. That way they can be incorporated in with each other. So there we go, got that. And these farm fresh eggs, our little fresh eggs are so pretty. The yellow is super yellow, it's beautiful. All right, now here comes the fun part. We're gonna start adding chicken broth. This was just a little bit, a small amount that I had in the refrigerator that I needed to use. So I will use for sure 2 of the 32-ounce boxes, containers of the chicken broth. And it also make it easy on myself. When I set up a little station like this, I have a pan that is basically just things that I'm going to be throwing away. And it makes it much easier. Now I'm going to stir this and see if I need more chicken broth. And if I do, I'll get some. But I may not, since this is, and you can, I wish you could smell it. Oh, it smells so good. It smells very holiday, very Thanksgiving. We actually make dressing at every single holiday meal we have. One year for Christmas, we decided to do a different type of meal, and we decided not to do it on Christmas Day, which is sometimes typical of us since I have adult kids that are out and about living their own lives. But we did like a different type thing. I made homemade chicken pot pies, and we had more like a snacky bar. We had cheese, different kinds of cheeses and dips, and we had buffalo dip, and we just had a whole different setup than we normally do. And everybody was like, Mama, like, that food was good, but it's not holiday food. So what we did was we actually went ahead and met again, and had our traditional holiday meal, because we do prefer just regular traditions, just our own traditions we have in our family. And it may not be for everyone, but that's what we do. And I'm not even a big holiday person, but I try to do things to make memories with my children and now grandchildren. Okay, so you're all about to think I'm super weird, but I smell this. And if I can smell the sage and it smells good, like I can smell it, I know it doesn't need any more, but I'm going to put a little bit more in this. I just probably put in 2 tablespoons more, if I had to guess, because I can tell that it needs more. So I'm going to mix this up. And let's see. Yeah, make sure you get it all mixed in together. You may hear Leo. He's at my feet. He thinks this is something for him. It's not. He wouldn't eat it anyway. He's a very picky kitty. Okay, that smells good. So I can smell the sage and it's not overpowering. Now, word of caution. Ask me how I know this. If you put too much sage in this, you might as well chunk it. Like, you're not going to be able to eat it. It'll be overpowering. So you just have to, you know, kind of gauge with how it smells. But I think this is good. So what I'm going to do, and I will say this too, if you are cooking in a disposable pan like I am, it is best that you put your dressing pan, even if it's not a disposable pan. This dressing gets really heavy, especially the larger the steamer pan, and it is just better to put it on something steady. I think I'll do it this way. Now this will be messy, like such a mess. If you just take and you just pour this, it's going to go everywhere. And again, I've learned that the hard way. So what I like to do is I just pull my pan up, I get a big ladle, and I just start scooping and pressing it down as I'm putting it in the pan. And you want it to be a little watery so it's moist. You don't want it to be so thick that it doesn't move. Like, you can see the texture here in mine, and you can see that it's not, there's definitely water, there's moisture in it. You have to balance that liquid. And I have a lot still on the sides, so I've got a trick for that at the end. Now this is looking like it's definitely going to fill up this pan. So I just take all this and press it down to make sure I get all that good stuff in there. And let's see here. Up to 400 degrees. I always keep my pie pans, y'all. They always come in handy. So this will just be a little snack. And you see right there, I went ahead and did what I said not to do. But at the end, you do have to pour it. You really don't have a choice. So that little extra, I just put it in this dish. Little pie pan. And that'll be for us. We'll just eat that. The kids will eat it. Now I'm going to cover this with foil, and I'm going to cook this for an hour with the foil over it, and I cover it tightly. And it may still run out, especially this little pie pan back here. It's probably going to run out. So it's fine. I normally also would put foil down on my pan, and this is my new pan, and it's already got stuff on it. I'm not doing it this morning for lack of time and lack of thought. I just didn't think it through. But I am going to cover this. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so I've got this covered. These are going to go in the oven, and I've dropped my rack. I normally keep my first rack on the second position, but I dropped it down to the third, and I'm going to carefully take this, and it's already spilling out, so we're going to be smelling. It's already spilling out of the little pie pan, so that'll be lovely because we will definitely smell it. But I'm going to go ahead and put it in here, and it's going to cook covered for an hour. Set my timer for 1 hour. Then in an hour, I will take it and I will uncover it, and I'm going to put it back in the oven for probably 30 or 40 minutes, and it will be still on 425. I don't change the temperature on it at all. And you will know it's done when the sides are brown and cracked and crispy, and it looks really, just really good. You can tell it's done. You still want a little movement in it, but you don't want it to be jiggly like liquid. You just want it to cook. But I will show you guys what it looks like when it's done. And before I pause this, because I'm going to pause this, I'm not going to stand here and talk to y'all for 2 hours. I want to show y'all a couple of things. And I guess this is a plug for my own self and for our Etsy and a friend's Etsy. As you know, we have several little businesses we have going here, and we try to bring in extra income in any way we can. And plus, I enjoy making things, and my kids enjoy making things. So I just want to show you a couple of things that we have, or that we are about to have in our Etsy shops. We don't have them, I don't think, right now. One of them may be up, I don't know. But I have this set of 3 little lambs, and we can also make pigs, lambs. We haven't done a chicken or a goat yet, but I'm sure we can. But these little set of 3, they're painted, hand painted, and they have some texture to them. And you can actually just kind of request for them to be painted any way you want. The back of them are black, and they're just super cute, and I just keep them sitting in my windowsill or up here. But this would make a super cute gift for somebody that is into like more primitive type decorations, and I am, so that's great. We also have these Lord Prayers plaque. Now this plaque isn't done. It is done as far as the printing, but it's not been stained yet. So we typically either clear coat it or stain it, and we can paint the flowers and the arrows and the leaves, or we can leave it plain. I prefer it just plain. I think it's so pretty. But we have this, and it comes with a hook where you can actually hang it up because it's kind of heavy. And then we also, these are not finished. We also have this. You just sit it up, or you can connect it. We can connect a chain to it or a little hook, and it can hang up. This one says, "Come, Lord Jesus, be our guest. May our home by thee be blessed." And we have several sayings, or you can tell us, give us a saying, and we can make it for you. And this one here, "Pray as fervently as if everything depended on God, and work as diligently as if everything depended on you." And this is mine personally, and we're still painting on it. You can pick the colors you want, or again, it can be stained and just, or clear coated and just plain. And lastly, my daughter made this. It's like a door, and we've had it by our door, so it's got stuff on it. Just a door decoration to hang and kind of prop up wherever you want to, But this one says, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27 KJV. And she drew some little sheep down there. She freehanded all of this, by the way. So, kind of just proud of her for that. But don't feel obligated to buy anything, but if you are looking for Christmas gifts and you would like to customize something for someone, please reach out. I'll have my email down in the description box, and probably tag my email in the first comment that I pin, and I will direct you guys according to what you want to whichever Etsy shop you need to go to. But I will be back in just a little bit, and we will finish this dressing, and I will see y'all in just a second. All right, so the dressing is done, and I want to show you all what it looks like. You can come on in here and see. This is the finished dressing. Sometimes I'll let it cook longer to where it will be more brown around the edge, but I didn't today. I want her to have plenty of moisture in it because she will likely be reheating this, and I didn't want to cook it so much that it was going to be dry. But all I have to do now is I've got my lid, and I bought these lids at Sam's. They actually just go with my pans, and I think I'd actually, yep, I did 2 of them. I'm just now realizing that. I'd already wrapped this up after it kind of cooled off. I didn't realize that there was 2. So we'll use that. But all I'm going to do now is wrap this up, and this will be ready for her. And I will leave instructions in the first comment. I will pin a comment, and I will leave them in the description box to this video. But this is such a versatile recipe that you can just make the amount you need. I really don't have amounts per se, so I'm just going to do a rough a recipe for what I would do if I was going to make my large full-size steamer pan, and that's the recipe that you guys will have, and you can adjust it down to make a smaller one like I did today, or you can go up and even make more. Now, I would say a tip that I'll give you is I do not suggest you cooking them together. I suggest you cook one at a time, because when I've cooked them multiple at a time, they do not cook evenly, and you do want this to be good and done. You don't want part of it to be done and the other part to be watery, or either one part really dry and one part, you know, really moist. You want it to be even. So only cook one at a time. And if it's a super large pan, if you're doing the full-size steamer, I probably would put it on the top rack and cover it with foil the first hour, and then uncover it the remainder of the time. And sometimes if I'm doing a full-size steamer pan, it'll cook an hour with the foil on, and then it'll cook 40 minutes without it. But typically somewhere it's in that sweet spot between 25 and 35 minutes. But according to your oven, you can adjust it however you need. But that's all I have for you with this. I hope you try it, and if you do try it, please let me know what you think about it, and if you like it. If you have any questions at all, just leave me a comment, and I will respond back to you. And I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you for being here. I'm definitely thankful for all of you. Thank you for watching my videos and just being so kind as you all have. We really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. And I will see y'all in the next one.